Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I know. I had to take a brief impromptu hiatus because of some school stuff. We're getting into March now and things are really starting to pick up, and I've got a big thesis to do, so I can guarantee that we'll get 2 more videos in this month. Or no, there will be this video and at least 1 more. I'm hoping for more details to come. If you're new to my channel, my name is Issa, and I am a disabled second-year graduate student studying communication with a focus in disability, culture, and identity. Today's video has nothing to do with my current time management crisis. It has everything to do with my history with mobility aids. So I know I've talked briefly about some of my mobility aids stuff on and off, but I really wanted to go into more detail with my background with mobility aids and how I ended up with the wheelchair that I have and the changes that I want in that wheelchair. So stick around and hear interesting life process and hopefully get some good information about SmartDrive. So let's jump in. Welcome to my floor of my dirty room. I am on the floor so that we can use my wheelchair and Kate as visual aids here. Anyway, so as I've said before on this channel, I've been a mobility aid user on and off my entire life. I've used a manual wheelchair that my parents pushed. I've used a scooter. I've used a out-of-pocket power chair that was very much like a cheap out-of-pocket power chair. And I stopped using mobility aids around 13, 14, just because I got to the point with my health where I wasn't being as active, and my needs for mobility aids were a lot more energy based, because if I didn't use a mobility aid, I wouldn't have been able to get through the day, when my lifestyle was more active, because I was doing competitive dance and all this other stuff. So I quit dance around that time. I quit a lot of the activities that were eating up my energy so that I could just kind of live my life. And that was a lifestyle change, but also made it so that I didn't need mobility aids. So fast forward to 2015, I got walking pneumonia and I got really sick. Pretty much set off a whole chain of events that we see manifested today. And that spring, so 2015, the spring of 2016, I'm a senior in college or high school, about to graduate, and my legs start giving out underneath me, and it's really scary. I'm really tired all the time. I'm just not feeling well, and I'm having trouble breathing consistently. I had childhood asthma, so it just kind of triggered my asthma with pneumonia. Anyway, so I started using a cane to at least help with the falling, and I only used it at the national tournament for my speech and debate league, because it was going to be such a big tournament. I needed something to make sure that I wasn't going to fall. And so I used a cane. I don't know if it was this one. This was my grandma's cane. I love it. It's really pretty. I think I stole it. I'm not quite sure if it was given to me or it was stolen or kind of a mix of the things. Anyway, so I started using a cane around that time, and it was mostly for that tournament, and I had people come up to me like, let me pray over you. It was a whole shebang. And really complicated feelings about my mobility aids and my disability at the time. And so I used the cane then, but then I was like, I'll just rest over the summer because I'm going to college that fall. And I was going to a college that was 3 hours away from my family, and it was a really tiny, tiny school that I had picked out specifically so that if I did have progression issues and I did have mobility restrictions, it'd be really easy to get around campus. Not thinking that I'd become a wheelchair user like I have. And so I picked a tiny school that was really far away. And so when I went to that school, I didn't use the cane. I think I had it available. I just didn't, because I was a freshman in college and I didn't want to have a mobility aid where, all of these new people and I wanted to be friends with. Anyway, so I kind of put the cane aside. I was still doing speech and debate. I was really tired, really struggling. I had a lot of health issues. My body just basically stopped digesting nutrition, period. And things were not looking great for me, the doctors that I was seeing. But if anybody like if you or anyone you know has gone from child care to adult care with medical care, it's a complicated process and it takes a really long time, and it is a terrifying process. I got some medical care. I decided to transfer universities that spring, so the spring of 2017, and I can't remember, I don't think I was using the cane yet again, but I was definitely getting closer. Anyway, so I changed treatment plans, started getting better over that summer. I was sleeping a ton, but still starting to like regain my strength. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to start at a new school. I have a new debate team that I'm joining. I'm really excited. I'm close to my specialist. So if I continue to have health issues, that I have a support system. Well, then I got mono. Don't share drinks with people. That's your lesson there. And I had mono for over 6 months. And when I got mono, I was right about to go to this like orientation camp thing. And I was really excited to go to this orientation camp thing. I knew it was going to be super active. And I went to my doctor and I was like, I want to go to this. What needs to happen? And she said, if you not only, this is where we had like one of those come to Jesus moments. She's like, it's not a question of just going to this camp orientation thing. It's an issue of going to school. You will need to start using a wheelchair. And was not super happy with that answer. But I was like, okay, well, this is just a short time. Got to get over the mono. And so we got one of my old out-of-pocket power chairs out, because we had 2 of them to rotate, and it was the only one that worked, and so I used that to do the camp thing. And we're like, okay, let's just wait for the mono to go away. And I kept going back and test it, and they're like, you still have mono, and you still have mono. And during that whole thing, I'm like at school and I'm trying not to use the wheelchair as much as possible, and it's really hard to get in and out of my car. And so I like, great, I'm having a lot of pain issues, and turns out that I was having nerve damage. And with the nerve damage and with all of the other things that was going on, my doctor just kind of was like, I think the wheelchair is here to stay. And I don't quite remember that conversation. I just remember being in my team room at the school, and my friend came in and he's like, what's going on? And I was just glaring at my chair, and I'm like, I can't escape that, which is so weird to me because I love my wheelchair. I love being a wheelchair user. I love a lot of things about this. But it was a really hard moment for me to like reconcile that having mobility aids is going to be a permanent part of my life. And that's what started the great race towards a wheelchair that was going to work for me. My friend gave me a big whole hug, and I took a breath, reevaluated my feelings. I was having a lot of issues as well with the power chair because it kept going out. And so then throughout that process, my doctor that I was working with sent me to a wheelchair specialist. The wheelchair specialist said, well, this is what you have. This is what it looks like, is that you're in a progression state, and the codes that will work with your diagnosis are going to be like, you're not going to be able to push yourself. So you're going to need a full, big, several hundred pounds power chair. And I was like, I don't have a car for a several hundred pounds power chair. And they're like, well, we got to figure it out. And also, you should probably lose some weight so we can get you down to a lower weighted chair, not just this really big chair. And I wanted to do whole back support thing. And which is a fantastic chair if that works for you. I just didn't have the resources. I was part of the speech debate team. I was already having issues. Like, I was using this beautiful family friend's scooter at the time and my cane, and just like, I think I even used a like rollator at one point. And I was just scrambling, but I'm like, I cannot use a power chair that won't fit in the van because I'm competing in speech debate. This is part of what I do. This is part of what I love, and I'm not sacrificing that part of me. At the same time, I'm like going to school and then going straight to bed, and I'm just sleeping all the time because I have mono. And so I think I had 2 doctor's appointments, and both of them kind of came out to the same thing. And tried to find a car, tried to find like financing for a car that would work with that. And I'd kind of given up. And so towards the end of my school year in 2018, in that spring, maybe summer, I don't remember, my mom was like, hey, I scheduled this like wheelchair consultant person to come to the house, and they're just going to talk about some options that we can like work through and see what works. And I'm like, sure, okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens, because I don't think this is going to do anything, because I was so fed up with the whole process. And this guy comes to our house and he listens to me talk, and I'm like, here's everything that I deal with, and I can't go anywhere. I am in my room all the time. I live literally in my room. I like eat, sleep, work in my room, and I only leave for classes. I have no energy. I just stay in bed, and I have to miss class a lot. And he's like, okay, well, and I'm like, also speech debate. I need to compete. I need to travel. This is part of what I need. And so he's like, well, have you heard of SmartDrive? And we're like, what is SmartDrive? This is SmartDrive. It is a power assist that is waterproof, which was really important, that connects to, at the time, a kind of like a watch that looked like a Fitbit. And you could turn it on and off by tapping your wrist. And you connect it to a hard, like, I don't know what it's called anymore, like a hard frame wheelchair. I don't know if you can see this, but let's see if we can. This kind of hard wheelchair, so I can't fold it up. Ooh, that's my cane. Hard wheelchair on the back. See, on here, and you just attach it and you go. And that was groundbreaking to me. And he's like, you know, insurance companies they're really popular in Australia, and insurance companies don't typically approve these things, but it sounds like it would work perfectly for your situation. Do you want to see like what we can do? And I'm like, yeah, let's see what we can do. And so I got evaluated, and he sent in the stuff, and I got approved. I remember sobbing at the approval, because suddenly I was going to get mobility aid that worked for my body, that was going to help me with my pain. We'll go through all of the different kind of things that we designed on the chair in a bit. And I was just overwhelmed with joy. And so that took, I can't remember if it was 6 months or if it was less than that. I know that it was probably one of the fastest approvals that I have ever seen people talk about. It was also one of the fastest deliveries that I've seen people talk about. And because they put it together so that I would have it for my first tournament that year. So, fun fact, if you are not a wheelchair user and you're like, you've been using a power chair or different like power devices like a scooter, and you go to a SmartDrive, it does take some muscle. It definitely takes, it's not a lot of muscle, it just takes new muscle to like be able to hold the rims, on how to be able to push yourself and just kind of develop this specific like, I don't know, strength. It's a different type of strength. It's not like, oh, I can lift heavy things strength, but it is something. I don't know. It was very difficult to figure out. So I literally got it the day before I went to this debate tournament. And I was so excited. And then my watch that was connected to it broke. And so I left it at my house. And that was in October. I left it in my house. They were going to come to my house and fix it. And when I called my family and was like, hey, they're going to come look at my SmartDrive and see what's going on. They think it's the watch. I've left everything there. Can you just get it out to like be ready? And I learned that we had a house fire, which has nothing to do with the rest of this video. So we've been through a lot, needless to say. It was in the house during the fire, and luckily it was fine. But the insurance guy did come in, and he's like, that's going to need to be entirely replaced. And my mom's like, that can't happen because we've been waiting for it. It is literally brand new. I've had it for less than a week when that all happened. But anyway, so that was my journey to this beautiful wheelchair. So let's look closer at this chair. So I got the chair in October of 2018, and I will be hitting my 4-year anniversary with it this October. And so I've been thinking about some of the changes that might be coming up for me for my next wheelchair in the next couple of years, and just like a list of things that I would like to have different, because this was my first custom wheelchair. Because I don't know if I mentioned that. It is custom. It is a, what did I say in one of my speeches once? Oh, it's like a glass slipper for my ass. Anyway, so let's start with some of the customizations and some of the ways that I would change those customizations in the future. It is kind of dirty, so please don't mind me. Anyways, the first thing is this foot plate. This is actually the second foot plate I have had. The first one broke. It gets really loose, and just because the way I use it, because I use it too much to push myself up. And then I also have this, which I'm not quite sure. I think this is standard. Anyway, this foot plate piece can pop out or down. The legs are a little bit long for me, and so in the future I'd get this shortened a little bit and get this foot plate. The other option is to have it like turned around and not flippable. So the reason why this is flippable is because at the time I was not much more ambulatory. I just didn't realize how much I'd be using my chair. And this is really great to move in and out of your chair if you do that frequently, and you're less likely to trip. However, that does cause problems when just like this falls off, or if this gets loose and that kind of stuff, and I'll have to tighten it. And another part that is custom that I like, that was important for me, is I have a hard back, and that was one of the pieces that they were worried wasn't going to get approved. But this hard back has been really incredible. The thing that I would change about it is actually not about the back, it's about the height. So sorry, I did clean it when I planned this video in January. Anyway, so I would get this seat lowered, which I think I might be able to do a little bit if I had a wheelchair consultant person who's helped me get this chair come in. But I'd get the seat lowered just so that my arms would have a little bit better grip. I feel like when I remove this and I sit in it without the pad, which don't do, it's very uncomfortable to sit in it without the pad. This back is at the perfect height for me. And the wheels are also at a perfect height. I'm just a little bit too high above, and part of that is because I'm not full-time wheelchair user, so it's a lot harder to transfer in and out if the butt is tucked down. However, it is also a lot more stabilizing if the butt is tucked down. So that's what I would prefer, even if it is a little bit harder to transfer in and out. I think part of the reason why I transferred in and out as much as I do now is just because of my, the way I work with, like the way things fit currently. Okay, so this is actually not a customization. I did have to buy them, but they come standard with SmartDrive now. These are SmartDrive buttons. They're called something else. I can't quite remember. And they are so helpful. There have been a lot of issues that I've had with the different watches. I was given my one push tracker was broken and I couldn't wear it anymore. And so my SmartDrive just basically, I couldn't use it at all. And so last year I bought these, and they have been a life changer. They're now standard, but they let me use my SmartDrive, because the good thing about that part of the push tracker that I struggled, part of the problem with the push tracker is that it connects via Bluetooth to the SmartDrive, but the buttons connect using this lovely little piece. And so and it also comes with a thing where you can just attach it here somewhere or something. I don't have that piece, I lost it. So I just tuck it up like that. These are actually my second buttons. I had to get a replacement because they wore out, because I was using them so much, because they were my main form. Now SmartDrive has a beautiful watch feature. I'm gonna have to set my camera down for a second. I don't know how much you can see this, but we've got, so it's not currently connected is what it's saying. So it connects directly to my SmartDrive. It says how much battery I have left on my watch, and it also says how much battery I have left exactly on my SmartDrive, which is amazing. I can't remember if it was part of the old push tracker. I just like how visible that is, and then you can turn on the connection and turn it off like that, or turn it on and off. If you're familiar with the old push tracker at all, there's some distinctions and stuff, but this has worked fairly okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work consistently. I'm wondering if it's just my problems and not problems with the system. It's because I haven't used a watch in a while. And so there's my distance. We had a freeze this week, so I haven't gone out besides yesterday. So there's all of your settings. You can do just a ton of stuff. It's amazing. I also really love that you can change your settings. Like, you've got your max speed. You can also adjust this button using your watch. It's anyway, it's just a lot of great things on the Apple Watch. Something to be aware of with the Apple Watch, though, is that it only works with certain generations up. I think it's 4th generation. I'm not really familiar with the Apple Watch. But it works with several different types of smartwatches now, so things to look up and consider. It's been really great so far, so you don't have to have 2 watches, and it also means that the Bluetooth has been a lot more consistent. And when it isn't consistent, I can still use the buttons, which have been super helpful. This is just a customization thing that I added recently. Something to know if you're going to be a new wheelchair user is look for bike gadgets. So this is a pop socket phone holder. So you can see, fits in like that, and then I can use these little grippy things to attach the phone. I just got it. I don't know how I'll like it, because this is kind of awkward, but I'm hoping that it'll be nice. Oops, you can see yourself. Or you can't see yourself, but you can see the video. Anyway, I'm hoping that it'll be helpful. We'll see. I'm about to go home for spring break, and we'll see if I like it or not. I will have to take it off when I go to the airport, just so that it doesn't get broken. But it's really solid, and it was on sale at Target for $15. So I just got pop sockets for everything. There is a beautiful wheelchair bag system with a cup holder, and it's kind of like this except smaller and sleeker and better. I don't have money for that, so this is what we get. I tried to get a pop socket on my wallet, but that didn't work. But we'll see if the camera thing works. I'm kind of hopeful about this. I'll have to figure it out, make sure it's safe. But it's one of the issues I have when I go out and I want to record, is I don't have a place to put my camera safely, because I just like to put my phone by my thigh. But we'll see. I just want to have a place that I can grab it quickly when I'm using it consistently. Anyway, that is my wheelchair. And the last thing that I would change, if I could, I don't know if I can, and I don't know what I'd have to lose to do it, but if I could get something that's a little bit higher here so that I would be able to have people push me, that'd be great. I don't have people push me that consistently, but sometimes when my SmartDrive dies, or I'm just having a bad day, or even when I like use my wheelchair to push myself, it's just barely too low that it makes it a little difficult and a little uncomfortable for me. And then my family is all, like, I'm the shortest one at 5'7", and everybody else is taller, with my shortest sibling being like 5'11". So anyway, thank you for watching this video. My journey with mobility aids, even though I've been disabled my entire life, and I think I've had some form of disabled identity my entire life, I think this wheelchair really changed the way that I view my disability, and it changed the way that I view myself, and in a lot of ways it's still surprising me, and I wish I had some like deep piece of advice for new wheelchair users, but I don't, and except the only thing I can think of is you are not an inconvenience, and that the world makes it so that we feel like an inconvenience a lot of time, but we are not the inconvenience. The systems that make us feel like an inconvenience are, because they're literally inconveniencing everybody. And it is a lesson I'm still learning and something I still struggle with. But use your mobility aids, and also use them as you like. Get up out of your chair if you need to. Use them when you need to. Like, we are at a point in our world where choosing to use your mobility aid or not choosing to use your mobility aid shouldn't be based off of how your fear of how other people are going to treat you or respond to you. It should come from just a place of what your body needs, because there's too much to deal with and not enough spoons to be consistently worried about other people's perceptions. And I know that oversimplifies the issue. Like, trust me, I get it. It oversimplifies the issue of like needing to pass in the right way of the right level of disabled. Anyway, but if you're going to take those steps to live your life as an authentic, especially if you're ambulatory, but like an authentic ambulatory wheelchair user, do it. You're doing amazing, and hang in there. There will be good days and bad. And I think that's just part of being human, and it's okay to have those days. Anyway, so that was today's video for our last day of February, since we only did a video at the beginning of February. But if my plan goes the way that I want, March will be dedicated to some wonderful disabled women I know in my life that inspire me every day, that I hope to introduce to you so you can have a perspective of disability beyond mine, because I think it's really great to check in with disabled mentors and people who are just doing incredible things. So that's what we're dedicating March to. If you're interested in that, please like and subscribe. Like I said, I at least have one interview done already. Hopefully I'll have some more in the next coming weeks, and we'll be like right on through March. But if not, we have our first interview, and she's amazing. So please check her out next week on Monday, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.